Australian Minister of Foreign Affairs Bob Carr said that engagement with Sri Lanka is the best way of alleviating human rights concerns. The visiting minister expressed this view at a media briefing held at the Ministry of External Affairs in Colombo today. A joint media briefing was held this morning between the visiting Australian Minister of External Affairs and Professor G.L. Paris this morning. Minister of External Affairs Professor G.L. Paris had this to say.
We discussed cooperation with regard to the arrangements that need to be made for CHOGM, the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, which will be held in Sri Lanka in November next year. Australia has a wealth of hands-on experience with regard to the logistics of organizing a Commonwealth summit. So we greatly appreciate the kind offer by the Foreign Minister of Australia to work closely with us.
At the briefing, a journalist made inquiries from the Foreign Minister of External Affairs regarding Canada's opposition in coming to Sri Lanka for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting and the manner in which Australia will support Sri Lanka.
Well, Australia most certainly will be at CHOGM. We would suggest to Canada that engagement with Sri Lanka is the best way of elevating human rights concerns. We'd suggest that the report of the Lessons Learned and Reconciliation Commission is a basis for such engagement, and the acceptance of accountability for events at the end of the civil conflict is part of that reconciliation process.
Minister Bob Carr also expressed his views on Sri Lankan migrants attempting to illegally enter Australia.
Let me make it very clear. Australia is going to be returning people who enter its waters through the efforts of people smugglers. We're going to be returning them to Sri Lanka, and doing so within 72 hours. So I give this warning to anyone in Sri Lanka who might be tempted to give a big sum of money to a people smuggler. Don't throw your money away. Don't risk your life on the high seas, because the new Australian policy is we send you back, we return you here within 72 hours.